Farm Basics is brought to you by the Liberty Link trait and Liberty herbicide from Bayer. The most reliable weed management solution, Liberty Link and Liberty herbicide are the link to efficient row crop production and sustainable weed management.
During our Farm Basics time each week, we talk about one of the things that we work on the farm or something that's going on in agriculture and try to relate that to the non-farmer. So if you're a non-farmer, we want you to understand a little bit about farming. We think it's important to make sure that we're connecting from farm to city, from farmer to non-farmer.
Well, one of the questions that we get is, where does the seed come from? Who grows the seed? Well, with soybeans, really any seed that's grown out in the field could potentially be saved, but seed companies will have designated fields grown with certain numbers, generally the new varieties that are coming out, and they'll take those and treat them extra special to do everything they can to make sure that seed has high germination, vigor, and seed quality.
With corn, we've got a male plant and a female plant. They cross, and that offspring, the hybrid, yields a lot more than if I was to take an inbred. Well, with soybeans, it's not that way. The plant is going to reproduce internally. It's just a whole different deal. So we're not worried about crosses. We're not worried about hybrids, anything like that. A farmer can go plant almost any soybean seed, and that could be the seed for next year. Darren said that seed companies have certain seed fields. The reason why they do that is they want to isolate those fields at least a little bit so they have good weed control, they have good overall quality, good fertility, disease control, insect control, just making sure the seed is going to be very good going into the next year.
All right, so let's start with harvest. So farmers will get out in that field to harvest that seed in the soybean field, and they'll try to take it a little bit wetter than they might otherwise take seed. If they're hauling soybeans into the elevator wants them to be 13% moisture or less. That optimizes their storage conditions in their grain bins. However, for seed fields, the seed companies may advise farmers to take the beans somewhere in the 12 to 14% moisture range, a little bit wetter than if they were just hauling beans to town. That way they can try not to crack up the seed or even damage the seed coat. If the seeds are plump and juicy and full of moisture, it's less likely that seed's going to get beaten up through the handling process.
So Darren started with harvest. I like to start the whole year before that on those seed fields, because what farmers will do typically with seed fields is they will make sure that the fertility is really good. So if they do everything right all through the growing season in terms of fertility, weed control, insect control, disease control, you'll see the seed size be even bigger. That's ideally what we're looking for. So we have a nice plump seed with plenty of nutrition there. So if things are a little bit adverse for the farmer when he plants that seed the next year, it can survive.
Okay, so back to my train of thought on the harvest. So the farmer will bring this seed into a conditioning plant, and the seed company will have a variety of different seed cleaning machines to take out any potential weed seed, any pods or stems that happen to come in with the harvesting equipment, and they'll try to clean the seed up that way. The soybean seed needs to be whole, and it needs to be unblemished, really, if you're going to get maximum growth from it the next spring.
Most of the farmers that we work with now are getting their seed processed at conditioning plants that have color and shape sorters. And what these machines do is they literally take every individual seed, they have a camera that's on it, and if it's a different color, if it's the wrong shape, if there's anything wrong with it, there's a puff of air that kicks that out. It is amazing what these color and shape sorters do, but because of that then, there is absolutely better seed quality for the end user, and that's the reason why we recommend that to any farmers that we work with.
So soybean seed may not be quite as complicated as hybrid seed corn to produce out in the field, but still farmers are taking a lot of steps to improve the quality, the germination, the seedling vigor in that seed. That starts with planting time, where they're putting on plenty of fertility so the plants have plenty of food. They're using disease and insect control to make sure that plant has as little stress as possible. And then from harvesting and all the way through the seed conditioning process, that seed is handled very gently in order for the farmer the next year to have great seed to plant.
Well, if the farmer wants high yield, even after planting that great seed, he's got to control weeds, especially our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?